It's Gorman in the morning with Fletcher and Ryder. Now, 92 KQRS.
Gorman in the morning, Minnesota's 92 KQRS. Good Tuesday morning. It's July 8th, 2,391,000,000. That's how many times Wonderwall has been streamed on Spotify. Over 1.2 million times a day. It's a good song. I mean, that's just one guy's opinion.
Can't argue with those numbers, though.
No, it's kind of hard to argue with that. It is Gorman in the morning. It is an early Tuesday morning. Good morning, Paul Fletcher.
Good morning, Steve Gorman. Good morning, Ryder.
Ryder.
We're going to kick you in the teeth. All right. And when you punch us back, we're going to smile at you. And when you knock us down, we're going to get up. And on the way up, we're going to bite a kneecap off. All right.
Happy quarterback season 2 on Netflix Day to all who celebrate. Come on, Jared Goff. And if you get your jollies off by seeing a real sad Kirk Cousins, they're doing his season in Atlanta. I'm just watching him get hit over and over and over again in season 1. I think the emotional devastation in season 2 is going to be even better.
Wow.
Maybe more gratifying this time? Maybe?
Yeah, I'm supposed to do a bunch of choring this afternoon, but I'll be sitting on the couch instead.
Kirk Cousins, as we speak, is looking at his beautiful children going, who wants more Eggos? And suddenly he's like, my nose is bleeding. What just happened? Ryder just sideswiping him from hundreds of miles away. Last thing the guy expected on a Tuesday morning. Yeah. All right, I'm feeling Minnesota, Paul Fletcher. Give me some headlines as long as we're here.
Yeah, I might as well. What the heck? Oh, I really hate to start things with this, but remember when construction was just weekends?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Minneapolis residents, really everyone, brace yourselves for significant traffic changes as a major reconstruction project on Interstate 394 begins next week and lasting through fall of 2026.
Oh, well, that's not too long.
We're talking repairs to 34 bridges and ramps along 394 and 94. Easy pass reversible lanes between Highway 100 and downtown will be closed through November, likely causing delays as well. Oh, and nearby Highway 55 is under construction as well. So it should be fine downtown. No big deal. No problems going to Vikings games this fall.
Take the train.
After nearly 2 decades, TSA has announced it has let the security rule expire on taking shoes off in screening lines. Thus, passengers at some airports across the U.S. no longer have to remove shoes during regular pre-flight security checks. Those with TSA PreCheck have done this for a while, but this will now apply to standard screening. The change appears to be a phased approach. The first airports include Baltimore, Washington, LAX, LaGuardia, and more.
In your face, Richard Reed.
Yeah, that's the guy who caused it all.
A-hole. I'm still pissed at him.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you be? I mean, he just tried to bomb a plane. That's, This is interesting. Jack Black has paid tribute to Ozzy by recreating his classic 1981 Mr. Crowley. Video is just released on YouTube. He was alongside a band of teams. It's like a School of Rock style cover. He's got Roman Morello in there, son of guitar great Tom Morello. In fact, Roman also paid honor to Ozzy's former guitarist Randy Rhoads by playing one of his guitars.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Nice.
Jack's got some good vocals. Also, quick note, Ozzy biopic apparently in the works, potentially hitting theaters by 2027.
Oddly enough, starring Will Ferrell as Ozzy Osbourne.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, I'd watch it.
In what can only be described as a great American tragedy, an accident involving 3 semi-tractor trailers in Pennsylvania resulted in the spilling of cheese, which covered over 2 football fields worth of highway. Here's a member of PennDOT talking about the cleanup effort.
That cargo happened to be a mix of Parmesan and mozzarella cheese. Presented a few unique challenges to our crews out there on cleanup. The crews found that the cheese was building into the roadway, creating a very slick surface. Sand was not really improving the traction, so we're proud of the ingenuity that our people used in deciding to put salt down in the road.
Unfortunately, it was no pizza party at the interstate. It was closed for several hours.
I would have never thought of that.
Nah, PennDOT was amazed at just how many of their workers turned out to be lactose intolerant.
Yeah. I mean, they're laying salt down to break up the cheese.
Man, come on. A little salty cheese never hurt anybody. I'll tell you that right now.
After lots of rumor and speculation, the time has come. As of July 1st, AMC has begun running more ads in Twin Cities movie theaters. AMC's website says its screenings come with, I love how they word this, quote, 25 to 30 minutes of what they call pre-show material, which includes trailers and commercials. AMC posted its worst quarterly earnings since the mid-90s, with the exception of the pandemic. And so that may be the main reason for the pre-show material.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, where's my remote? I'll be on the couch.
Search and rescue efforts continue in central Texas after unprecedented flooding this past weekend. Reports say now over 100 are dead and 11 still missing from Camp Mystic, that all-girls summer camp. National Weather Service, to add insult to injury, has issued a flash flood warning, saying several more inches are expected today. They do expect it to dry up the rest of the week, though.
Ooh,
it's just brutal. I mean,
yeah.
Hopefully they can catch a break, right? At the very least.
Yeah, every update is just more and more heartbreak. It's just such an awful thing.
Absolutely. It has been declared a state of emergency, so that activates FEMA and gets some federal funding and stuff in there. Hopefully that helps out. Drummer Matt Cameron has announced his departure from Pearl Jam after 27 years. Cameron joined Pearl Jam in 98 after Soundgarden's breakup and has played on the last 7 studio albums. Cameron expressed his gratitude to the band, saying, quote, "Much love and respect to Jeff, Ed, Mike, and Stone for inviting me into the band in 98 and for giving me the opportunity of a lifetime." And Pearl Jam acknowledged him back, saying he was a significant contribution, stating Matt Cameron has been a singular and true powerhouse of a musician and drummer.
No argument there. I think Pearl Jam has been at their greatest, certainly live with Matt Cameron on the throne.
He was exactly who they needed when Jack Irons departed. He just a versatile guy that could do everything, and it does. I've got it on some decent authority that it's the touring schedule that got to him, and that's why he's chosen to retire. Although they don't play as many shows anymore.
6 weeks every year is just backbreaking.
That's what I was saying. Like they used to play 3 hours, and they used to play hundreds of shows a year, and now it's like 13, and they play 2.5. But
sounds to me like the primo gig of all gigs. But
he
who's
did
to say?
it for 30 years. He's tired. Let the man rest.
I'm not
fair enough,
doing that.
Guys.
Fair enough. I just hope. All I'm saying is I'm always trying to read the tea leaves on stuff. I just hope everything's okay with him health-wise. That's all. McDonald's is introducing a new Spicy McMuffin breakfast sandwich, and it launches today. It has all the same stuff as a regular Egg McMuffin, but it's got an addition of spicy pepper sauce. Customers can also choose the Spicy Sausage McMuffin or the Spicy Sausage McMuffin with egg during breakfast hours for a limited time.
So after 50 years, we've come up with a new spicy sauce.
Yeah, it's the same McMuffin except spicy sauce.
Are they doing this in the Midwest? Is this Midwest spicy or actual spicy?
I think it's the same spice everywhere.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So dare try if you dare.
If you're rolling through the drive-through, give us a little food review.
Please do.
651-989 Rock.
Yeah, it's called the Spicy Egg McMuffin in the Midwest. It's called the Egg McMuffin on the West Coast.
Yeah,
that's how that works. Minnesota Twins, as we mentioned yesterday, Byron Buxton is going to the All-Star game, which is fantastic. He is now also let the world know he's going to participate in the Home Run Derby as well. And why wouldn't he? My man's been jacking the ball with a little extra oomph all season long. That's pretty exciting. Going back to his home state of Georgia, now the All-Star game will be played in suburban Atlanta, Georgia. He's from Baxley, Georgia. I lived in that state for 13 years, and I've never heard of Baxley. Wow. If you're wondering how small Baxley, Georgia must be. 200 miles southeast of Atlanta, which is to say on an entirely different planet. So, but still a hometown weekend for Buxton. That's pretty exciting. The T-Wolves kick off Summer League in Vegas. Rob Dillingham and Terrence Shannon Jr., second-year pros, will be the people to pay attention to. Let's see if they can work their way into the rotation this season. They're going to play 5 games. Worth a look just to see, especially Dillingham, if he's a point guard we can count on. Finally, real quick sports note. On this day in 1889, John Sullivan defended the last officially sanctioned bare-knuckle World Heavyweight Championship. Jack Kilrain's trainer threw the towel in after the 75th round.
Dang.
What?
75 rounds of bare-knuckle World Heavyweight Championship boxing.
God.
Real quick, do you know just how awful something had to be in 1889 for people to go, hey, let's put some sort of cushioning gloves on their hands. What do you say? I mean, how brutal could it have been for this to be the last time that was sanctioned? Congrats, John Sullivan, 75-round winner.
How
we're
exhausted
gonna kick you in the
were
teeth. All right, and when you punch us back, we're going to smile at you, and when you knock us down, we're going to get up. And on the way up, we're going to bite a kneecap off.
There we
all right?
go. All right.
For the rest of his life. When asked
Lord.
about the fight, John L. Sullivan said, quite honestly, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Hey, Arden Hills, glad to have you with us this morning. Arden Hills, Minnesota. Lovely people in a lovely spot of the world.
For sure.
Yeah, it is. I'm still thinking about John Sullivan. Holy
Oh, who isn't thinking about John Sullivan? It's July 8th. It's
God.
John Sullivan Day.
Yeah.
Gorman in the morning. Coming right back. 92 KQRS. Streaming from 92KQRS.com. Gorman in the morning is back. 92 KQRS.
Gorman in the morning, Minnesota's 92 KQRS. I've often felt like I should have a perennial Father of the Year award because I never take my family on cruises.
Yeah.
I never subject them to a cruise experience.
I've been asked multiple times, and I said, absolutely not.
Yeah.
It's not happening. Ever.
As I've said for decades, I'll have my Legionnaire's disease on dry land. Thank you very much.
Good luck with that.
I don't need to get that crap out in the middle of the ocean. But tens of millions of people take cruises every year. And it's pretty amazing because, the booze is just flowing. It's just a free-for-all out there. And amazingly, about 20 people a year fall off of cruise ships worldwide.
Wow, I didn't know
20.
that.
Yeah. And more often than not, they gone because the ocean's big and it's cold and it's deep. And by the time they get a rescue boat around there and a drunk guy's in the water, it can go really, really wrong. Well, you may have heard something about this a few days back. A Disney cruise had an experience with a man overboard. A dude jumped intentionally right off the side of a Disney cruise because his daughter had just accidentally fallen off the side of a Disney cruise.
Uh-oh.
And he went in right after her. Now, I would imagine, especially on a Disney cruise, there would be a lot of barriers because you have a lot of kids on those boats. I don't know the specifics of how this child got into a position to be close to going over the edge, but you got to give credit to the dude. Now, of course, what would you expect him to do? I would expect any dad to just immediately go, oh, well, here we go.
You don't
and
think,
hit
you
the
just
water.
go.
You just go. But that said, in that situation, hey, man, a lot of people might give it a second thought. All ended well. The Disney, they put out the little rescue boat right away. The man overboard signal went off through the boat. The dude and his daughter were in the water for about 20 minutes. And this was down in the Caribbean, so the water was warm.
And
that
full
helps.
of sharks?
The Caribbean's not so crazy sharky.
All right. Not so crazy sharky.
More of a barracuda threat, probably, something like that. There are sharks, but it's not like they were off the coast of Cape Cod, with great whites circling around.
Right, Jaws wasn't hanging out in that area, I don't think.
Just Steamboat Willie.
Yeah,
That's
for
it.
sure. By the way, on a Disney cruise, when there's man overboard, so they don't alarm the children, it's they make a call for Mr. M.O.B. Mr. M.O.B. Mr. M.O.B. That's how they disguise it.
Alarm the freaking kids so they don't jump off the boat.
Oh,
Jeez.
man.
Yeah. The thing that freaks me out about this, having daughters, in the water for 20 minutes. Of course, I'm jumping in without thinking. It's not even like this. Honestly, reading this story got me sick to my stomach because it hits so close to home. But 20 minutes. Like, I'd like to think that just the superhuman stuff kicks in. I don't know why I'm in good enough shape to tread water for 20 minutes.
I think you could handle it for 20 minutes.
In a life or death situation, I hope that I could.
The dead man float will help you out. Just remember, it's all about floating, really.
That's true.
That's
that's
grand
true.
Scheme of things. And again, they were in a part of the world where the water wasn't too terribly choppy. That said, I'm just trying to think of the most heroic thing I've ever done as a dad. Whatever it is, since nothing immediately comes to mind, it's nowhere close to this, Ryder.
Do we have medals for all the dads who didn't let their children fall off this boat?
Thank you.
I mean,
Thank you.
come on. You're a good dad if your kid doesn't jump into the water.
That's
true.
That. I mean, I can recall a time at a high school basketball game when the kids were really young, watching my daughter teeter towards the end of a set of bleachers, and I was like, I wonder if she knows that there's a big gap she's about to fall,
Yeah.
And then the last second jumped up, said her name, she spun around in shock, and then fell backwards right off the edge of the bleachers because I yelled at her. Kind of a problem there, kind of a different thing. But I did run to the edge of that bleachers and jump down on the floor and make sure she was fine, and of course she was.
Great.
So, I mean, it's not...
I want to give you a medal for that because there was no news coverage of it. That's you being a good dad.
Yeah, listen,
Not
man.
making the news.
I do my best to stay out of the news, especially when it comes to parenting tips. I just find that's a lot better for everybody involved. My kids are never forced to respond to. So what kind of dad is he really? It's just better for all of us.
It's Gorman in the morning with Fletcher and Ryder, 92 KQRS.
Joe Strummer, lead singer of The Clash. Cool dude, man.
Yeah.
Very. Yeah.
No science needed for that.
As cool as it ever got, as they say. We probably all have a different idea of what makes someone cool. When I was a kid, there was only one. There was one arbiter. His name was Arthur Fonzarelli. He lived in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Yeah, of all places.
He was cool.
Hey.
The comb, the hay, the leather jacket, the T-shirt, Mrs. C. I mean, everything about him. That was what cool was.
Well, that and everything he bumped or knocked. Fixed it. He fixed it.
That jukebox bump, yeah. The song started playing. That was pretty great.
Yeah.
Not only the bump to the jukebox, but then the whoa afterwards. Always pretty good. And then you get older, and then you realize, sometimes the people who aren't cool are actually the cool ones. And then you go in a round robin for the rest of your life trying to figure out what's cool. Well, thank God that somebody said, you know what, let's figure it out once and for all. Let's ask thousands of people from around the globe how they define cool. And here's an interesting thing. Really doesn't matter where you're from. This study concluded there's about 6 things that all different societies, all different cultures, all around the planet, there's 6 commonalities that if you're going 6 for 6, you're the coolest person that we know, basically.
Okay, I think I got one.
Please, lay it on me.
Okay, you're gutsy. You're willing to try things that other people are not willing to try.
All right, very, very nice. The word on this study is adventurous.
Okay, that's fair.
That's about what that is. That's you're gonna do something. You're not gonna be you're not gonna be a party pooper. You're the guy that says, yeah, let's go, man. I was hoping to see above average height and great hair, and apparently neither one of those is involved in this. So that was kind of a drag to me.
Yeah, but drummer. Well, that's got to factor into coolness.
Yeah, I would think.
Cool. I mean, I'll just tell you, being a drummer in a successful rock band's kind of cool.
I think that, and then I see pictures and videos of myself playing, and I look like I'm having some sort of an episode, is what I would call it. And I think, well, there's nothing cool about what it looks like, so there's that.
I have noticed, and not Steve in particular, but I have noticed if you go to a rock concert and there is somebody who is most likely to take their pants off, it's the drummer.
Oh, really?
So, so that's, I'd say that's adventurous, that's gutsy, that's you not giving a crap about what anyone thinks.
Some might even say hedonistic.
I'm trying to think if I've ever had a pantless gig. No, I don't think I've ever removed my pants on stage.
Did you ever do the thing where you uncontrollably just had your mouth open while you were playing? Like I mean, it's radio, so like that doesn't...
In case anyone's wondering, Paul's never seen me play drums live by asking that question.
Yeah.
I have seen, but have I not seen that? Is that something that you did on a regular basis?
I have people that come up to me and they go, who are you talking to when you're playing? Are you singing? And they're like, are you singing along? I'm like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, I'm doing all kinds of things. And it's best left alone afterwards. I hate to look back and realize, wow, I did look like I was in some trouble up there. Yeah. No, just trying to keep a train rolling down the tracks, man. It takes all I got.
Yeah, buddy.
So none of that is on the list, sadly. But so we do have adventurous.
Okay.
That's clearly there. Okay. We've got extroverted.
Okay.
Which
sure.
that I get that, but as you get on in life, less interested in extroverts. I mean, necessarily extroverted to me. I guess I've sort of taking that to mean like the loudest guy in the room. And maybe that's not exactly what that means. Extroverted is just necessarily not introverted, I guess. But when I see the word extroverted, I'm usually thinking I just want to get away from people who just won't shut up.
Yeah. I think it's meant to mean outgoing, but like outgoing to a fault is really what sense. You know what I mean? But people that are outgoing to a fault, that's obnoxious. Actually,
outgoing's probably a better term for that. Good one there. So we got extroverted / outgoing, adventurous, and then we've got open.
Isn't that what adventurous is?
No, I think it's more like...
I thought that's what extroverted was.
Okay.
All three of those kind of all tie together, I think.
I think thematically, you're just not too locked in. You're open to new suggestions. You're open to, new information. You're like, oh, now that I know that, I think this. Like an open mind.
That's cool. Yes.
I think that's very cool. Now we're going to get into the weird one. Autonomous.
so
is a word.
So robo-taxis are super cool.
Apparently so. By this definition, autonomous means you're independent and you're not trying to fit in.
I mean,
that's cool.
I like somebody who can take care of themselves, so I'd say that's a cool thing. Like if you don't have somebody else do all of your chores, very cool. If you can make yourself a meal, cool. That's when I start to think kids are cool, when they start to be able to take care of themselves.
Wow.
Yeah, before that, your head's going to fall off. I don't know what's happening.
We had a lengthy conversation last night with our daughter who she had a conversation with her boyfriend about how independent she is and if she's adult enough. She's dating a guy, great kid. He's in medical school. He's like an overachieving super freak. And he was giving her grief because she didn't know exactly what she was going to do after graduation. And of course I was like, hey, babe, let's pull the ripcord on this one.
Yeah.
Not having a plan in life when you're not. Well, yeah, he's had a plan. He's going to go to medical school.
Right.
That's easy. I said his life is a Hot Wheel track. He's not making choices. He's going where they tell him. Anyway, that was a whole thing where we were going into last night. I was like, babe, I'm sorry. Your dad dropped out of college and bought an instrument he'd never played before. Planning's not our thing.
Correct.
That's not. We're not in the planning business here at Team Gorman.
I think, how old? Marley's 23.
Just turned 23.
Yeah, now is the time to not have a plan. If you don't have a plan when you're 23, I think you're setting yourself up pretty good for later in life. Her boyfriend, who's got the plan down, is setting himself up for a midlife crisis right about 42, 43.
Oh, sure. Oh,
if she gets to 25 without a plan, though, she's screwed. I'm kidding.
Don't tell my son that.
Yeah.
So that's
don't tell me that.
651-989-ROCK. What do you think? What do you think makes someone cool? Who's the coolest person you know? I mean, let's weigh in. What are we missing on what makes someone, in your opinion, actually cool? 651-989-ROCK. On the talk and text line, 651-989-ROCK. This one just came in. Not caring what others think, having one's own sense of style. Boy, well, I mean, I have my own sense of style. I don't know if anyone wants to follow it. Trust me.
Yeah. I mean, Adam Sandler has his own sense of style, too. But have you seen it? It's all sweatpants.
How about this? Being humble makes you cool. Lily says, I'm 23, been listening since I was 14, thanks to my mom. Mom is cool.
Hell yeah.
Both are cool. Lily, 23, thanks for hanging with us.
Rochelle says, being cool is being kind to someone who can do nothing for you. We all heard the old, treat the janitor how you would treat the CEO. There's no one more important than your janitors and the garbage men of this world. You don't want them on your bad side, Ryder.
Listen, working in call centers for a few years, once for a bank and once for a cable company, I can tell you who's not cool is the people who completely lose their S on whoever is on the other end. Like, your ability to stay calm in a situation where you're frustrated, that's cool.
Yeah, I would agree with you 100%.
When I'm on the phone with customer service, I always assume I'm talking to the CEO, so it's okay to yell.
Wow. It took me a minute to get there, but you're absolutely correct. You have to remind yourself that person's just there working and they're trying to help you. They're not the CEO. So you need to be nice to them.
We left two more off the list here. We'll get to these really quickly. This is a shocker. Hedonistic, another word of the 6 traits that make people around the world think someone's cool. Hedonistic. They have a good time. They never feel guilty about it. I mean, the word hedonistic's a bit strong. That leads me to think you're not just enjoying having fun, but you're doing it at other people's expense, or you don't concern yourself with how your actions may impact others. And finally, powerful. Powerful, meaning simply you're confident, you don't let people push you around. Okay, I think that's generally a good thing to be regardless, whether it's cool or not.
If it's what America's definition of powerful has become, then I don't find that to be super cool.
Here's something that's very cool. 92 KQRS is going to rock the boat with an 80s cruise Friday, July 25th. With Stillwater Riverboats, free food, live music from Rough House Rocks, and drinks with your buds. Hey, that's us at KQ. Get tickets at 92KQRS.com. Why don't you?
This is the one where people generally show up in some kind of costume or getup.
Yes, they do.
And I always think that those people are cool because they don't give a rat's what anybody else thinks about what they decided to wear. They're just there to have a blast.
Well, and live music on a boat is cool. That's cool.
Oh, yeah. Get dressed up, get out, get rocking. Let's have a good time July the 25th.
Gorman in the morning. Coming right back. 92 KQRS. Streaming from 92KQRS.com. Gorman in the Morning is back. 92 KQRS.
Gorman in the Morning, Minnesota's 92 KQRS. It is a Tuesday morning. That's the Offspring right there. They're on tour this summer. A lot of dates. And just that fact alone.
August 15th here.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Thank you. If you went back and met with the members of the Offspring when they were putting that band together and said anything about the year 2025, the last thing they would have thought would be, oh, we'll still be a band and playing shows. And
at the Target Center.
Just thinking about how differently things are, because Matt Cameron, the drummer for Pearl Jam since 1998, quit the band, announced that he had left the band yesterday, or he's leaving the band. In 1998, he would have thought there's no way we're still going to be doing this in 27 years.
Sure.
They were only 8 years. They were 7 years into being a band with a record out. Like, 10 came out in 91. Mm-hmm. Only 7 years in, he joined the band. And back then, I remember thinking, God, this is like their fourth drummer. They've been around a while, and now 27 years later, he's leaving.
Yeah,
it's just nuts to think that like when the Beatles and the Stones and the original British invasion bands hit the American shores, every one of those guys in an interview would say, "Oh, we'll do this 2 or 3 years tops."
Right.
No one had any concept of bands lasting this long. All of which is bringing me around to the Scorpions, the German band. The Scorpions are 60 this year.
Holy cow.
They started in 1965. And,
oh, my God.
And there is a Scorpions biopic that they just dropped the first trailer for. It's in production, and I don't know who's playing the members of the band, but McNulty from The Wire, that actor, is apparently he's an English or American producer or some manager. I'm just like, wait a minute, hold on. McNulty and the Scorpions? I got to see this. But it's a fascinating, it looks pretty great. As far as all the rock biopics you hear about, yeah. I will go check out a story about a bunch of kids in Germany 20 years after the war ended trying to make sense of how to be a rock band. Hell yeah.
I can't imagine the intricacies of the tape that they had to go through that we would have never dealt with.
That's a lot of red tape over there at the time. I can promise you that.
Feed me in sausages.
Looking forward to that. You're damn straight. And speaking of German food, you know where you can get amazing German food is in Texas.
Of course.
True story.
Shockingly.
Absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of German immigrants from the 1800s ended up in Texas, and you will find yourself a lot of sausage houses and various meats, and it's all going back to the Germanic influence. That has nothing to do with why people in Texas are completely crazy, as they are in Wisconsin and Florida. Wisconsin, Texas, Florida, 3 of the craziest places you can find yourself. We're going to play a game, and that game is to, let's see, give away some cruise tickets, if I'm not mistaken.
Rock the Boat 80s cruise, yeah.
Rock the Boat 80s cruise, Wisconsin, Texas, Florida. Let's get on to a smart girl, why don't we? Ryder.
That's debatable.
Ryder's version, I like to call it. She's the Taylor Swift of Gorman in the Morning. She's got her own. She's bought back the rights for 1 week to Wisconsin, Texas, Florida.
All
WTF. She's going to play us 3 clips of a news story, and we'll determine, Fletcher and I will guess as to whether these stories took place in Wisconsin, Texas, or Florida. And then we're going to give you guys a shot. We'll have some callers call in. The first caller to correctly identify all locations will win tickets to the Rock the 80s cruise on July 25th. Have I left anything out, Ryder?
I don't think so. I think we should just get right to business.
Do
Bang.
it.
Okay, here's your first one.
Well, when a South business owner went into work this weekend, he found more than he bargained for, a very strange intruder. Phil Prazen reports the owners were relieved he hadn't come for anything except a good night's sleep.
For most of us, if this sign isn't on, we don't go in. Apparently, that's not for one man. Police say 28-year-old Ricardo Cardona tried for 20 minutes to kick down the door at Hudson Meats on South and finally succeeded.
He comes over to our cooler, grabs a couple sausages, goes back outside, and then comes back inside.
You can see he walks over to the 40-degree meat cooler, quickly realizing it's not for him, and turns back.
So just kind of really just surprised at what had actually happened.
General Manager Scott Grumble says around 5:30 a.m., Cardona walks into the office, finds a coat, kicks his feet up, and falls asleep. All caught on security cameras, even when workers show up for a shift and call the police, who wake him up and charge him with only criminal trespass.
Didn't touch our register, didn't touch any money or any products or anything, didn't even get to eat the sausages that he grabbed from the cooler. He was just drunk and tired.
And so it could have been, 180 degrees different from what actually happened. And so we, take it with a grain of salt, and it is quite entertaining now to see how it actually all played out and what happens.
Insurance money replaced the door, and one charge reminds us, if it's not open, don't go inside. That's rude.
That's good advice. All this happening during Hudson Meat's busiest time. It's rifle season when hunters bring their trophies to be processed for meals.
Now, I'm going to give you a little hint here. This story did not happen in Hudson, Wisconsin, even though the name of the place is Hudson Meats.
Copy that.
So it might have been in some other place in Wisconsin or Florida or Texas or whatever. But I'll just give you that right there. So if you thought you heard a screw up, not today.
Not today.
Not today, kids.
I just can't stop thinking about how much better his night's sleep would have been if he'd have downed those sausages.
Right?
I mean, with a full belly, he would have felt so much better and got much better sleep.
Yeah, but maybe they wouldn't have been able to wake him up. Who knows?
Okay.
All right. I'm my brain's clicking right now.
Okay,
I'm feeling good about it.
I got this one.
Didn't digest his sausage. Okay, here is your second one.
You got to think of other people, especially when you got somebody in the back seat, and not cool.
A man is accused of driving 115 miles an hour down with a baby in the back seat. Thank you for counting on News. I'm Christy Soto.
And I'm Peter Bush, and that's not all state troopers say this man was doing. News reporter Madison Adams has the story that'll make you grip your steering wheel.
I drive pretty fast myself, Everybody does. Everybody goes, but 110, especially endangering somebody else's life, I think that is outrageous. Unbelievable.
That's exactly what Highway Patrol troopers say Charles Wheeler II did on Sunday. They arrested him on a state trooper caught him flying down the interstate going 115 miles an hour, weaving in and out of traffic, tailgating, and on his phone on Snapchat. I told other drivers about it.
If there's other people, then it's like your responsibility. So you're taking their lives into your hands. If you're going that fast, like negligence.
The report says Wheeler had a 10-month-old baby in the backseat. Troopers say he almost crashed while dodging a mattress on the road.
I've seen people fly past me at 110. There's no way nobody's surviving that, especially a little kid. The bones are real fragile and they're little.
Wheeler was arrested for reckless driving and child neglect. On the way to the County Jail, Wheeler's phone started blaring vulgar music in the patrol car. When the trooper went to shut it off, he spotted a Snapchat video showing his speedometer at 110. The caption, "Good vibes only."
Nothing good vibes about that. That's insane. That is, child endangerment to the max.
Reporting in County, Madison Adams, News.
Okay, so I'm going to give you another little hint on this one. Your 3 driving etiquette experts that you heard in there, those real gnarly dudes, 2 of them are shirtless. All 3 are standing in front of a Culver's.
Yes.
So I'm going to let you contemplate that.
Wow.
It's not changing my answer, but
okay, all right.
I just think it's hilarious that the baby's bones are the biggest concern here.
They're fragile.
They're fragile.
Baby bones.
They're actually more resilient because they're babies, but you still don't go 115 with a child in the car.
Oh, well, I guess knowing that, maybe I will. All right, here is your third and final story.
And caught on camera. Some new body camera video shows the moments deputies responded to a robbery in County, only to find the suspect in his birthday suit and covered in mud. Take a look.
What's going on?
Can you guys help me out?
Yeah, we're gonna try to do that. What are you doing out here?
Did we just have a conversation?
I did not. It's the first time I met you.
I remember you, bud.
Deputies say they were searching a burglarized van when this naked man emerged out of the bar nearby. 23-year-old Zaid Khan told deputies he was, quote, told by a higher power to follow the sun and walk. Khan admitted to breaking into that van and trespassing. He was arrested for multiple charges and is being held on bond.
I don't know what other hints I can give you on that one. Dude's naked. There you go.
Yeah, no, I get it. All right.
Game on, gentlemen.
Yeah, no kidding. All right, so we got an intruder who needed some sleep. We got a guy racing around with a baby in a car, and we got a naked dude covered in mud.
Yeah.
Breaking into a place. All right.
Following the sun.
In the middle of a game of Wisconsin, Texas, Florida, Riders version.
All right.
And she's got Kirk in Golden Valley on the horn, who apparently has threaded the needle and come up with the correct answers. But before we hear from Kirk, I guess it's time for Fletcher and myself to weigh in. Ryder, a quick recap, if
Sure,
you would.
here we go. So the first story, a guy walks into a place that processes meats and just straight up falls asleep. The open sign was not on. The reporter thought that was key to tell you. Who's going first today? Fletcher?
Sure, I'll take a shot at this one.
What do you got?
It's sausage, so I'm going with Wisconsin.
Steve?
Yeah, thought about it, but you know what? I've already referenced the Germanic influence of Texas, and so I'm going to say he's in one of those wonderful sausage houses in the Lone Star State. I'm saying Texas.
Kurt, what was the answer?
Texas.
Damn it.
Boom.
Yes.
All right, that's
Well
one
played.
for Steve.
Really well
man,
played,
Kurt.
Steve.
Thank you.
Okay, the next one. Dude is rolling down the interstate at 110 miles an hour with a baby who has fragile bones in the back seat while posting on Snapchat. Fletcher?
This one, I just thought of all the craziness and shirtlessness and whatnot, and I went with Florida.
Not Wisconsin, despite the Culvers?
Correct.
Okay. Steve?
I think you were trying to send us a stray.
Yeah, I think the Culvers was a boomerang clue. I'm going. I also am saying this the Sunshine State, Florida.
Kirk?
Florida man for the win.
There you go.
Right on. Okay.
Yeah,
correct.
You were trying to lead us astray for sure with that.
I mean, I was shocked they even had Culvers in Florida. I thought it was notable. Okay, so now we got the guy who is naked and has to walk towards the sun. Fletcher?
Man, I really, this is the one that got me. Although I got the first one wrong, I still felt really good about the first two. This one, I have no clue. I'm just going to guess. I don't know why. Wisconsin.
Steve?
This is also a guess. I'm just throwing up a figurative coin. And only because I rarely go with the same state twice, I usually like to think of it's all three. I'm going to say Florida for no reason other than I just don't have a clue.
Kurt, the answer is?
Still Florida.
Yes!
There we go. Steve running the table today.
Nice
work.
job. God.
Man. Right on. Well, Kirk, you've won tickets, my friend, to the Rock the Boat 80s cruise Friday, July 25th. Our friends at Stillwater Riverboats putting that on. You're going to enjoy some free food, live music from Rough House Rocks, drinks with your buds at KQ. Again, Stillwater Riverboats. Thank you, Kirk. Looking forward to seeing you. I hope you take Ryder's suggestion and dress appropriately.
Any costumes come to mind?
The last time I was out in Stillwater, I wore a Speedo, so we'll see.
Yikes.
I can be Florida, man.
Just as long as it's not the birthday suit, I think you're good to go, bud.
Well, it'll be great. First guy I see in a Speedo, I'm saying, what's up, Kirk? Let's hope it's you. Thanks for calling. Congratulations, brother.
Gorman in the morning. Coming right back. 92 KQRS. Streaming from 92KQRS.com. Gorman in the morning is back. 92 KQRS.
Gorman in the morning, Minnesota's 92 KQRS. Allison Chains, like Jack Black, not really ever holding back. All in.
What was the clapping for?
I'm giving Allison Chains their props. I'm giving them some claps.
That's
She's clapping. She's saying, hey, you earned it.
That might be their best song. I love that song.
A poll has found most of us do applaud at the end of a performance, regardless of our feelings for said performance. I guess I maybe I misspoke. I said not this guy. I will give a couple. This is exactly what I'll do, and then I'll just sit there. And I'll probably put a look on my face that's not one of disgust. That's as far as I'll go. But when I'm watching somebody do something that I think is not very good, I just don't. I don't like to feel like I'm supposed to applaud. It's like, no, you need to learn that when you suck, you suck. I mean, hey, I've been there.
You need to learn when you suck, you suck.
Yeah. Hey, look, I've played gigs, and people are just staring at me like, what is wrong with this guy? What is this band's terrible? And you know what? That's good for you if you're an entertainer. If you're going to get in front of people, you shouldn't get polite applause. The polite applause is actually more pandering, it's what's the word I'm looking for? It makes you feel worse when you're like, oh, they're just doing that to be nice.
You think that all performers have that level of self-awareness?
No.
Like they know when they sucked, they sucked?
Probably not.
Okay.
We took the kids to one time. We took the kids to a magic show. It was, well, let's see how this is. And there were two magicians, one of whom was really good and one was really bad. And if you've ever seen anything worse than a bad magician putting on an act, I don't know what it could be. It's worse than a bad comedian. I mean, because you're just like And I can remember just sitting there thinking, this poor guy, but man, I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going to give him the applause. And so let's take it another step. If you're somewhere and there's a standing ovation and you don't really care about the performance, do you stand? Do you just go with it? Will you stand, or have you ever sat through a standing ovation in a room?
I've sat through a standing ovation before.
Yeah, and was it because you just didn't want to stand, or was it because you didn't think it warranted that, or both?
It was that I didn't think it warranted it. Generally, I'm an applause guy. I applaud at almost everything just for getting up there and giving an effort. It's not so much an approval. It's more of like, hey, you got up there, you stepped out of your comfort zone potentially, and you put yourself out there for us, and so I will clap to say thank you for that. But the other thing too is I think it varies by the event, right, and the location. If it's a stand-up comic or a rock band or a school play, it's all different.
Yeah, I have no problem not applauding or not laughing at a stand-up comedy.
Same.
Sometimes you'll see there's nervous laughter because people are like, we should laugh. Mm-hmm. Somebody should laugh. This poor guy up there, oh, she's dying on stage. Not me, man. I will just sit there like, get off the stage, bring someone funny out. That's
where you said a bit ago that you need to know when you suck. You suck. And I think it's not more important than in comedy, because that is, like a band doesn't necessarily go up there and I don't think anyway, that's not a barometer for their performance, I don't think. But with stand-up comedy, it kind of is. It's like, especially if you're trying out new stuff, you want to know what works and what doesn't. So you're kind of rude to laugh or clap when it's not appropriate.
Played a gig in 1988 in the basement of a Chinese restaurant in Greensboro, North Carolina. There was one person there. One person showed up to see our band, and after about 3 songs, he just said, y'all know any Cougar? As in John Cougar. And we said no, and he looked at all 4 of us and went, well, y'all suck, and walked out.
So you played for nobody?
So we did. In fact, yes,
for the
we
door
did,
guy.
because we had already eaten our Chinese food, so the woman that ran the place made us finish our set. We were like, there's no one here. She was like, you already ate. You're playing.
Did she clap for you?
No, God, no.
That's
How about the door guy? Did the door guy clap?
There was no door guy. Everybody left.
Okay,
We did, and by the way, we did suck. Make no mistake about it. There was nobody that saw that band was thinking they're going to get a record deal soon. It just was not happening for us.
You sure showed them, though.
I think it was all the MSG. Hey, we were talking earlier in the show. Scientists have determined, not just in America, but across many societies, cultures all around the world, what makes people cool. They asked thousands of people, hey, man, explain what makes someone cool.
Is it body temperature?
No. We're talking about,
my God.
We're talking about who's the cool dude, who's the cool gal, who's the people everyone else wishes they were like.
The answer is smoking.
Well, there was a time when you're damn straight it was smoking.
Have you been overseas? It still is.
Well, that's a very good point. Yeah. The lung darts don't seem to really worry people in other parts of the world as much as they do here. But so scientists came up with a list. They said the same 6 traits cut across all the lines between us around the world. Extroverted being number 1 on the list. Extroverted. No one thinks the introverts are cool. Come on, really? Maybe that's when you get to college and you're thinking about taking an art class and suddenly you're like, I don't know, that introvert over there looks pretty cool.
I'm going to disagree with science here and say there is kind of a mystique to that, quiet dude hanging out over in the corner that doesn't feel the need to chat everybody up,
That's very true.
So, yeah.
I used to be the one that was in the spotlight. Now I'm the one that's over in the corner. It's amazing how things change.
Okay.
It's true. If it was in a party, I used to be the guy craving spotlight, begging for it, doing whatever I could to get the attention. Mm-hmm. And now I am the quiet guy over in the corner, just keeping to myself and watching.
And well, no, because you're looking for even more cooler attention, as Ryder just explained.
Sure.
You're like, they're going to think I'm a man of mystery.
Either that or I've turned into a mental disaster, one or the other.
There's also this on the list, adventurous. That makes sense. I think people are attracted to the more adventurous among us. I mean, I guarantee you Christopher Columbus was not hurting for, a company. You know what I mean? What are you doing? I'm going to go sail off the edge of the world to prove it's not flat.
Yeah.
Trust me, people wanted to hang out with that guy.
Just for some freaking spices.
I think the adventurous one is the one I most identify with, or what I think is cool, because those people that just have a belief in themselves and will just chase a dream and not have a backup plan, or those that are willing to just go off and do what they want to do, that no fear mentality, I envy the hell out of that.
Aw, thanks, Paul.
I was talking to Ryder.
Open-minded also on the list. I think open to suggestion, open to new information, not so locked in anywhere across the board. I think that's a pretty good one. On the text line 651-989-ROCK, John wrote, cool people don't know they're cool. It isn't put on. Well,
that's fair.
That's very true.
Good point.
I think that what we're talking about is people who they're not doing these things to be cool. They just happen to have these qualities. I think that's what kind of, what sticks it in. Now, if you can add the ability to punch a jukebox and make it play records, then yeah, sure, throw it in there. Throw that bad boy in there to be sure. Talking about cool people. What does it mean to be cool? Who are the cool people that you see out there? Who's cool to you? KQRS Facebook page, a lot of great posts on there. Some of these, in my opinion, absolutely inarguable. Brian wrote in Miles Davis.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Miles Davis, one of my favorite quotes about music from Miles Davis. He said, anybody can play. The note is only 20%. The attitude of the blankety blank who plays it is 80%.
That's damn straight. Nailed it.
That's punk rock. That's punk rock right there.
That wasn't the Miles Davis quote that I've ever heard.
No,
thank you. That was awesome.
Yeah, that's a good one.
While we're on music, can I give a little shout out to my boys, Jake and Elwood?
106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
Hit it.
Hit it. Pretty great. Between that moment and was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor, Belushi and two of the great pep talk speeches of all time in American comedy cinema history right there.
Absolutely.
Robert on the Facebook post, no one cooler than Morris Day and the Time. You know what? Also inarguable.
Sure.
Done walked a hole in my Stacey Adams, man. Come on. That was... Man, the Time was... I never understood how the Time wasn't bigger. I mean, I know they were humongous around here, and they were very successful, but I thought they were just right there, come on, if the Commodores can sell millions of records, how is the Time not selling millions of records?
They should have been an arena band, I think is what you're saying. And
absolutely.
I totally agree with you. I was never even a huge fan, but I still agree with you. It just makes too much sense.
Man, absolutely badass. Bob wrote just simply Keith, but he posted that iconic photo of Keith going through customs at an airport in America sometime in the 70s, and he's leaning against the wall, and the sign on the wall, patience, please, a drug-free America comes first. And you can only imagine how much stash was in the pockets of the various pieces of clothing Keith Richards was wearing in that photo. He's living large back in the day.
I mean, that's just another word for cool, Keith.
Cool is as cool does. It's in the eye of the becooler, or whatever you want to say. We're up against it. It's time for the last word. A lot of people, look at presidents and say, what do they have in common? Most of them are tall. Most of them have served in the Senate. Most of them are... Well, lately left-handed. About half of the U.S. presidents in the past 80 years. Truman, Gerald Ford, Bush Sr., Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, all left-handed. Ronald Reagan was ambidextrous, but naturally left-handed.
Wow.
And and Herbert Hoover, also left-handed, but at the time he grew up, everybody was taught to use their right hand, so he operated right-handed as a lefty. So that means I have something in common with Herbert Hoover. Because my dad, apparently, who was born in the 1800s, kept me from using my left hand in the 1960s and 70s. So thanks for that, Dad. No telling what I could have accomplished if I'd leaned left. Not kidding.
Yes.
That's how that goes.
I know.
Absolutely.
You know how to use scissors correctly or something
finally,
like that.
Exactly. Finally, James Garfield, another president from back in the day, a lefty who was ambidextrous. He only was in office 6 months. Someone shot him. I mean, that's how much people hated lefties back then. Okay, now, tomorrow on the show, we're going to play Beat the Jock for Pixies tickets.
Oh, sweat.
There it is.
I
That's
stashed a
always
couple
good.
of pairs, so be here about 7:25.
Nice. All right, what's coming up next, Fletcher?
Check this out. I want to play something called She Talks to Angels to start the 10 a.m. hour. And then I got a band called Mata Hoople coming up later on. Plus, I got Rock the Boat 80s Cruise Passes.
Very, very, very nice. Keep your dial right where it is. Lots of great music straight ahead on Minnesota's 92 KQRS.
Gorman in the morning is also Gorman on the go. Get the 92 KQRS app and stream live or catch the Gorman in the morning podcast anytime. 92 KQRS.